Hello, everyone. Welcome to Or This. This is my Monday morning quarterbacking of the scriptures in the sermon for the previous Sunday. And this video is from Sunday, October 22nd, where the scriptures for the day were Exodus chapter 33, verses 12 through 23, Psalm 99, 1 Thessalonians 1, 1 through 10, and Matthew chapter 22, verses 15 through 22. So, I preached on the gospel, as I so often do, and it was basically a teaming up of a religious group and a political group to try to trap Jesus with the question, is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not? Jesus, in Jesus' wisdom, comes back at them with the response. That's the phone. But I don't have to get it because Barb will get it. Jesus comes back with the response, show me a coin used for the taxes. They give him a coin. He says, whose head is on this and whose title? They say the emperor's. And Jesus says, give then therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's. So basically, I preached on that. And I want to talk a little bit about that, but I want to talk about it in relation to the story that we had in our first reading. Once again, we're on the semi-continuous Old Testament series, so our first readings might be a little bit different from some other mainline churches that use the Revised Common Lectionary. So we had the story from Exodus, and it's a back and forth conversation between God and Moses, and Moses is basically saying, you've come with us so far, now assure me that you will go with us from here. And God's like, I will be with you, I will show you mercy. And then Moses wants to see God. Moses is in a deserted place, maybe back up in the mountains where he got the commandments from or whatever. So it's just him and God. And God says, you cannot see me. Anybody who sees me will die, sees my face, but I will cover you with my hand until I have passed by, and then I will take away my hand and you will see my backside, the backside of me. But my face shall not be seen. And so the idea that a human being cannot gaze upon the likeness of God, the identifying part of God, right? I mean, we can't always identify a person by the back of them, but you identify a person by looking at the front of them. And it's just and that's always been a thing in the Old Testament, was not being able to look at God. And anybody who would see God will die, because God is too holy, and humanity's too unholy to gaze upon God. So we've got that idea, and then we've got this thing from Matthew where Jesus is talking, and I translated it as whose likeness, not just whose face or whose head, whose likeness is on the coin. And the idea of give to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God give back to God. They give back to the emperor the emperor's likeness, and give back to God those things that bear God's likeness. And I talked about how our lives we were created in the likeness of God. And so how interesting is it that we have this story in which Moses is not allowed to see the likeness of God, and yet all Moses has to do is look around at the people and see the likeness of God, because God created humanity in God's likeness. And then there is this question and this teaching from Jesus that says, if it's got if it's got the likeness of the emperor, this piece of metal that bears the likeness of the emperor, give that back to the emperor. And then give to God what is God's. Give to God what bears the likeness of God. And that would be our human lives. And so Moses wanting to gaze upon God's likeness. And how many times, too, do we say, we talk about we wish we could see God? Well, first of all, interestingly enough, they were gazing upon the likeness of God in Jesus, right? Because Jesus was God made flesh and come into the world. But we still also have this this very basic aspect of our essence of who we are or what we are, and it is we are made in God's likeness. And so if you want to see God, look around you at the people. Now, that might be hard to understand because, well, I look around at some people and I see some things that are definitely not of God. There's a lot of bad things that go on in the world around us. People mistreating other people. People doing, crazy stuff to hurt other people. Well, those actions are not the likeness of God. But we are all made in the likeness of God. And I wonder if it would change anybody's behavior if they were told that they were created in the likeness of God. And if we thought of everybody around us as created in the likeness of God, might it change the way we treat others? And when we see everyone as created in the likeness of God, might it broaden our minds to who God is? When we see people of all colors or nationalities, cultures, people with all kinds of different skills and abilities, people who even maybe not necessarily can do all the same things that everybody else can do. We could talk about being differently abled. People who might have physical limitations, but are all made in the likeness of God. So I wonder how, rather than reflecting upon the tax thing, and it's not the same question as our question about our taxes today, because our taxes go to, are different. We have different kinds of taxes than they had back in those days. But this isn't really a conversation about taxes. Jesus makes it a conversation about life. And where are our lives? Who are our lives dedicated to? So I had that thought this week about Moses not being allowed to gaze upon the likeness of God because God was so holy. And yet, with humanity created in the likeness of God, all Moses has to do is look around at the people that he has led all this time. And he will see the likeness of God. And the same thing for all of us. All we have to do is look in the mirror or look at the people around us, and we will see the likeness of God. Curious thing then to think about what exactly is about us is God's likeness. Is it my eyebrows? Is it my nose? Is it my chin? Or does it have more to do with a more general picture? Or does it have to do with our feelings or our skills and abilities? So those are some thoughts I had from our scriptures this past week. Be curious to hear what you have to say in the comments, and I appreciate you watching. God bless.